Good morning, I'm Bishop David O'Connell, Auxiliary Bishop of the San Gabriel region in Los Angeles, and I want to welcome you all to the different workshops happening around Southern California today. We're here together to work to end the death penalty in California by voting yes on Proposition 62 and no on Proposition 66 in the upcoming November elections. I have spent almost last 30 years working in South Central Los Angeles. I began there in the time of the crack cocaine epidemic. I was there during the riots in Los Angeles. I saw killings most weeks in the neighborhoods around the churches where I was pastor. I've also seen the suffering caused by murder, by drug addiction, by gang involvement. I've seen all that suffering. But I've also seen the suffering even of young children coming into our schools and our religious education, whose lives are destroyed already, even at the age of 4, 5, 6 years old, by the total breakdown of their families. Many children coming into our schools, even 4 or 5 years old, already traumatized, closed down, angry, suffering terribly inside. And so I know the suffering caused by family breakdown, the suffering caused by crime, the suffering caused by murder in our streets, in our communities. I know the suffering caused by involvement in gang life. And always the church tries to respond. We in our parishes, the people I worked with in a parish, we try to respond always by saying, how can we help our young people? How can we help the children who are suffering so much? How can we help the young people whose lives are already destroyed by so much suffering and trauma and violence that they've experienced in their lives? We as a church, above all else, need to always find ways to help those who are suffering, both those who are the victims of crime and those who are perpetuating the crime. They're all children of God, they're all our brothers and sisters, they're all our young people that we need to try to help. And so that's why I am against the death penalty, because I think there are so many things we need to do in our society. We need to ask ourselves, how can we help children? How can we restore families? How can we help our young people who are suffering so much? How can we help these young people who are involved in gangs or get involved in crime? How can we help them? How can we give them a path to a new life? And we know, especially as followers of Jesus, that continuing violence by even if it's state-sponsored violence of the death penalty is no solution. It just adds to the river of suffering that's already flowing in our society. It just adds to the myth that violence somehow will solve any problem. We're saying as a state that if we kill this person, then we're somehow solving a problem or bringing about some healing or restoring our society or helping the victims of society. It's a terribly empty, futile, and it does nothing to heal or to bring about restoration or rehabilitation or anything better in our society. The death penalty is no use. It's just adding to the myth of violence, adding to the myth of revenge that cause many of the killings and violence that we see in our society already. We especially the followers of Jesus, We have to believe that there's a better way. First of all, we believe in the dignity and the value of each human life. And that no matter how much has gone wrong in somebody's life, no matter how evil their act of killing somebody else is, that they are still children of God, and that we have to do everything we can to hold out to them the possibility of mercy and compassion and restoration in their lives. This year we have the great privilege of celebrating the year of mercy, the holy year of mercy. And in this year, above all else, above any other time, we as followers of Jesus should vote yes to end the death penalty. Yes on Proposition 62, because it is the great example of the fact that the mercy of God extends to all human beings, to all of creation, but to all human beings. That there is the message of this year of mercy given to us by our beloved Pope Francis is that there is no human being beyond the mercy and the compassion and the possibility of new life that this mercy brings. And so the death penalty flies in the face of the mercy and the compassion of Jesus Christ. And we as followers of Jesus have to be the ones to bring this mercy and compassion of Jesus to the world. And the ending of the death penalty will be a sign of compassion to these most unfortunate of our brothers and sisters who are on death row. But it's also a reminder of the mercy of God for each one of us. A reminder again that none of us is beyond the mercy of God. This act of voting to end the death penalty is a great act of mercy for this year of mercy. It comes right just at the end of our year of mercy. But it would be a concrete action, a concrete political, social, civic action we can take to put our faith into practice. And so we are asking each one of you now, not just to resolve to vote to end the death penalty in California, but also, and I want to thank you for this, because here's the difficult part, also to go out and to talk to our brothers and sisters in the neighborhoods around where you are gathering now, and canvass the neighborhoods and talk to people about what we believe in our hearts and know in our hearts, that the mercy of God is for everyone, even for our brothers and sisters, and they are still our brothers and sisters on death row. I went to San Quentin with the Get on the Bus ministry a few months ago. We brought children and teenagers to visit their dads and their moms who are imprisoned. Many of whom are imprisoned for life. We didn't get to go to death row, but we brought these young people to visit their parents who like I say, are serving life sentences. It would touch my heart to see how much it meant to those children, those young people, to see their dad and their mom, to have just these 2 or 3 hours with their dad or their mom, which they probably get to do because of the goodness of the people who do the Get on the Bus ministry. They get to do this maybe once a year. But you could see their faces changing, you could see their whole the whole spirit lifting, and that when they are touched by the love of their parents for them. The parents are incarcerated, the parents have done many things, but I was moved going around to the different groups of family groups when we got into the prison to see dads talking to their children about Jesus and saying, come to Jesus and stay close to Jesus, he will help you. And telling their children, I've done things that are very wrong and I have to pay the price for that, but I want to ask you to try do everything you can to stay close to Jesus and stay away from crime and stay away from sin. And they were talking to their children like this. And I thought, well, this is bringing about something very precious and beautiful for these young people, that they can have this moment with their parents and that they will remember it for their whole lives. And I think we need to be able to extend that possibility also to the people who have committed the terrible crime of murder in terrible circumstances. Give them some chance to warn their children, their loved ones, their families, their friends of the terrible consequences of crime and sin, and so that they can help them to have a new life. This Sunday's Gospel is a story of the rich man and Lazarus, where the rich man in hell asks our father Abraham, send somebody to warn my brothers not to end up where, so that they don't end up where I end up. Maybe this is something that we can think about with those who are on death, that now are on death row, but have committed these terrible crimes. If they get a life sentence, there's still a possibility that they can serve, that they can rehabilitate their own lives. They can turn to the Lord and ask for forgiveness, but also they can help others to not end up where they've ended up. And so, thank you, my brothers and sisters, for the work you're doing. It's difficult sometimes to go out into the neighborhoods to talk to people you don't know and to have this profound conversation with them, but it's a beautiful work of mercy also to those people, that they can know about the mercy of God, and that we as Christians believe in this mercy of God, and that we can live our faith. And also you can in this way also bring about some healing in our society, and bring about at least that we start thinking about other ways to heal our society, other ways to reduce the violence of our society, other ways to reduce even the killings in our society. And that way is the way of mercy and compassion. And we must start thinking about ways in which we can extend our mercy and compassion to children who are suffering, to the young adults, to the young people who are in gangs, to the people who are incarcerated. Let us try and find all the different ways we can now to reach out to all those people, so that's the way we will reduce the violence and the killing in our society. That's the way we will reduce the pain and suffering in our society, by showing compassion to those who are suffering, and especially to our young people. We're not going to reduce the suffering in our society by the death penalty. It won't help. It's counterproductive. It just perpetrates the violence. The only thing that's going to heal our society is that all of us try to show compassion and mercy to everyone, and find ways to make that compassion and mercy real in our world today. Thank you, and may God bless you, and God bless your efforts today.